Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shine Wellthy. I am Chris Williams, and I am here with the incredible Briena from Stockshop. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Chris. It's really an honor to be here. I'm super excited about it.
Yay. So I personally reached out to you because I've been using your photos in my branding for probably 3 or 4 years now. I can't even remember, but and I just signed up again into the membership because it's so good. It has saved me so much time. The photos are absolutely gorgeous. They truly are a critical component of my own personal brand. And I'm just excited to introduce you to, these other women here that are looking for images to help them attract their ideal client.
Thank you. That's an amazing intro. And I'm super excited to have you back as a member. So I'm honored that you've been using my content, especially because your brand is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Well, you have helped me with that. So it's really great. Can you help kind of share, what makes Wellness Stock Shop special from all the other places that we could, get stock photos or, things out there to help convey a brand message?
There's so much that I could go into with this. The first thing I would say is that, of course, all photographers are different. So the imagery that you find is going to be different when it comes strictly to the stock photos. But I think what makes Wellness Stock Shop especially unique is that, well, my brand is obviously, my members really like it, that I really am always listening to them. And not only am I listening, but I'm really taking action on what they are telling me that they want. So what actually started as a stock photo site has completely evolved and is still evolving into so much more. So it's really, I almost am thinking of it now as a system that you as a woman business owner can tap into, and it's got all of these amazing resources for not only your branding, but also your marketing, all of your content creation. So it's got, the beautiful color palettes and font pairings, but it's also got social media resources like hashtags and caption templates, and then all of the amazing graphics, including workbooks. So you just take those things, you choose a beautiful color palette, you choose a beautiful font pairing, plug it into all of your graphics and your website, and you've got a consistent brand just like that. So that, I think, makes it especially unique.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's what I mean about saving time and having a consistent brand. Like, I just want to kind of double click on the consistent brand here, because you did say, that all photographers are different, and they are. Like, I could, go to one stock place and get an image that has lavender in it and go to another that's got, and it looks completely different. It doesn't look like it's a cohesive experience. And that's why I love all of your photos, because it doesn't matter which I choose from the gallery, it's going to have this cohesive feeling, which makes it really attractive.
Yeah. And thank you for pointing that out. That's so true. And I really, really have been focusing on making things as easy and simple as possible for women business owners. And this is because I'm a woman business owner too. And I've gone through so many years of trying to get things together, and we're always wearing so many hats and taking on all of these different tasks and roles that we never imagined that we'd be stepping into when we opened up our businesses. We never thought, oh, I'm going to have to deal with branding, or I'm going to have to deal with marketing, or all this tech stuff. So I'm really focusing on making it as simplified as possible. And I would say that the other thing is that, as far as photos go, stock photos have gotten such a bad rap because the traditional stock photos are so stale and lifeless. And that's actually the reason I originally started Wellness Stock Shop, was because I was working with branding clients and they needed beautiful photos for their massage therapy business, for their health coaching business, or their essential oils business. And it's so expensive to hire a photographer to get custom photography. And the
It is.
demands these days for the content, the amount of content that you have to produce for social media and your blog and all of these sorts of things is, in my opinion, it's just outlandish. I mean, it's really hard and expensive to keep up with. And so I started Wellness Stock Shop also because I got online to find stock photos for my clients so that they could tap into some other photos in the meantime. And they were horrible. They were just so stale and awful. And so that's why I decided to actually open Wellness Stock Shop. So you really do need to pay attention. People can tell, even if they can't put their finger on what it is, if they land on your website and something doesn't feel professional, or it feels really stale and like a typical stock photo, they're going to notice, they're going to get that feeling, and it's going to actually have an effect on them, how they feel about your brand, what they think about it, how professional they view you as, and whether or not they actually want to invest money in you. So it's all
Oh,
important to think about.
yeah, absolutely. And that really is, such an important piece, whether we're using these photos on our website or whether we're using them on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or Pinterest or whatever. You want to have that image that is going to, differentiate you, but also allow you to be credible and not
Yes.
just use the same, things that you see other people. It's so funny when I land on a website, I can instantly tell when, like you said, when it's off. I'm like, oh, that just kind of, like, you're seeing a whole bunch of corporate people sitting in a boardroom or something, and I'm like, that's a stock photo.
Yeah, you can tell immediately.
Yeah, I'm like, and again, not that stock photos are bad, because I use them from Wellness Stock Shop, but they're not like that. Like, your photos are really welcoming and warm and feminine, and giving you a chance to really convey the image and the experience and the feeling that you want people to feel, that allows you to let people know that there's, I don't know, there's a real person behind there, not just a
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah, my goal is to always create photos and all content that feels really professional, but also very natural. So you've got to find that sweet spot, I think.
Yeah, I love the models that you use in it too, because they're very real. There's a diversity there. They're real women. You can connect and relate to them. It's not like a movie star that you're like, yeah, don't really resonate with that. Like, the images that you have are, real, accessible people that you can really relate to.
Yeah, that's something that's extremely, extremely important to me. When I started out and I was looking for models, and the typical people who, are like, oh, I'll model for you, are really young, thin, in their early 20s, girls who want to be, in front of a camera. And so it was actually really difficult to find women who were, older than their 20s and who had just very, natural, unique bodies. And I found that it's because, what we see in the media is always like the image of perfection. And so a lot of women were really shy to get in front of the camera. And so I had to work really hard to find women who would feel confident enough. And once I started to do that, then women started to see how beautiful the photos would be. And so now it's a lot easier to find women who will actually jump in front of the camera. But I actually turn women down if they don't fit, like if they look too model-esque. And it's not that I want to at all discriminate against thin young women. It's just that I know for marketing purposes, and a lot of my members, I know who they're marketing to, and I know that what kind of image they want to relay, which is very inclusive. And so it's really important to me to capture that as well.
So beautiful. So what, with, Wellness Stock Shop, can you give, some of our people, some of our women here, like a place to start with, attracting, the people, like using, photos to help attract their ideal client?
Well, I
Big
mean,
question.
what's that?
I said, I know that's a big question, but
That is a big question. But I honestly, I would say, it's got to start before you're actually looking for photos. You've really got to start with um, feeling into the essence of your brand and who you are, and really find that authenticity where it's connecting with yourself. It's really suitable to what it is you're offering. So for instance, if you are a health coach for busy moms, you're not going to want to use Metallica font and really dark colors and black and red. Really, you need to make sure that your branding really creates it connects with what your offer is, and it's got to be attractive to your ideal clients. So you've got to think about those three things. And so I would highly recommend, first of all, that you really get clear on your branding. And everyone is going to hear this already, that you need to get clear on who it is you're trying to attract. Even if you have the basics of that. I mean, it doesn't have to be getting in deep into the demographics of what's her hair color and where exactly does she live, but more so the psychographics, like what's important to her, what are her values, what is she really struggling with right now in relationship to what you do, and what does she wake up with night sweats in the middle of the night thinking about, and what's her ideal solution. So at least know that stuff, and then really try to find that sweet spot again of what's a look that feels really, really comfortable to me, that I absolutely love and I feel really confident about, and that embodies, what my offer is, and that's going to be attractive to my dream client. And so I would recommend actually starting at the very basics. There's a really, really simple exercise that pretty much any branding expert will have you do. And that is basically, and anyone here listening or watching can do this right now. Just close your eyes and really meditate on your ideal client. Even if you don't know exactly who this is, just think about the energy of who she is or he. And then just think about 4 words. How do I want this person to feel when they interact with my brand, when they land on my website or my social media page? What's the feeling I want to give them? What do I want them to walk away, with this? What feeling do I want them to have? And if you can come up with just 4 words, that's the best starting point for your brand. And so these 4 words would be kind of your mood words. And the exercise would go deeper than that. But even if you figure that piece out, you have a really great starting for your brand foundation. So this could be, I want her to feel really confident or sensual or sexy or feminine or inspired or energized or supported. Just come up with 4 words. And then once you have those words, and I actually teach this in my branding course because this is my favorite exercise. Once you have those 4 words, you can then pass any photo that you choose or your colors or any elements that you choose for your brand, pass them by those words and make sure that they fit at least 2 of those words. So for instance, if you see a photo of, a woman and she's wearing really, bright red business clothes, like a blazer, and she's really standing really confidently, and your words are soothing and calming and grounding and supported, that photo might not fit because it's got that really bold red and it's feeling a bit more masculine. But if your words are confident and empowered, for instance, then that photo is going to be great for your brand. So there's a really great way to actually sift through photos. And at least if you know what doesn't work for you, you can more easily find what does.
Wow, this is like such a ninja hack. Like seriously, I love that having these 4 words, and then it allows you to easily, navigate between the photos of what is going to be a good representation, because it is true. Like the people that work with us based on a feeling. Our photos, our image, our brand is designed to help attract people that want to feel a certain way. And you want that to be relevant and congruent. Your images.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, if you're not a trained brand designer, or you're not, you don't know much about that, it can be very confusing because you're just going based on what you like. I like what this looks like. I like what that looks like, but do they fit together? Well, now you have a strategy to kind of figure out, are these photos actually going to fit together? And it's really important for you to create a consistent look on your website, on your Instagram feed. And I see so many people who just grab any sort of freebies. So freebie graphics, there's a lot of people giving them away. Sign up to my email list. I have that too. Sign up to my email list and you'll get these free graphics. But the biggest mistake they're making is using any free graphics that they get just because they're free graphics. And it can totally sabotage your brand. So make sure that you pass it through those 4 words, pass by your mood words, to make sure that these graphics are actually going to work for you.
I love that. And those mood words you can also take into the fonts and also into the colors. And, does this color convey that feeling? Does this font convey that feeling? Even though we know that branding is more than just colors and fonts, obviously, or than logos. Tell us about your branding course. I know that you've had it, but I want people to hear a little bit more about it in case anybody wants some more around this.
So this is something that I released years ago, and I've got to say, it is amazing. It is seriously, like, I'm super happy with it and I get amazing feedback on it. It's actually a DIY branding course. Even though I would say I would not recommend that you fully DIY your brand. And I do go through that in the course as well. But I think that anyone who has a business should take a course like this, because I think it's so important to have just a basic understanding of branding and understanding, what is this feeling going to relay, or what kind of feeling do I want to relay, and how can I pull these things together? Even if you are going to hire a professional brand designer, for instance, it's really important and helpful, and it'll save you time and money if you show up with a general understanding of branding and what it is that you want. So it's a super simple, super duper quick course. You can even finish it within a weekend. I've had some people actually finish it. Some students have finished it within a weekend. But super to the point, valuable exercises that teaches you branding basics. And if you really truly want to DIY your brand, you can do any level you want. You can 100% DIY your brand. I show you how to actually pick out your own colors, design your own color palette. I show you different strategies for doing that in really easy ways. You end up creating a brand board or a mood board. You go through, I teach you about fonts, so you can choose your own font pairings. You can totally customize it. Or you can go through and I actually share different resources that are really affordable, so that you can go to these places and just purchase your branding basics for a super affordable price. And then you've got it, or you can find these color palettes that are already designed by designers. I've got that now inside Wellness Stockshop. As you know, it's already included with the membership. So it's super easy, very informative, very quick, and just a very impactful branding course.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, you guys need to go check out this branding course. Like, seriously, like simplicity. Like, I mean, you and I both are like trying to, when we're growing and building a business, you said earlier, and I know that we mentioned right before we went live today, that there's so much for us to do. There's so many different hats for us to wear. And so when we can find, and I'm not necessarily saying it's a shortcut, but we can find ways to simplify and allow us to create what it is that we need to create in a way that, doesn't have us feel so overwhelmed, because when we're feeling overwhelmed, no action is taken, and then we just don't feel confident, we're not certain, and that energy comes through. So this is really allowing people to simplify and take away some of that complicated, overthinking and overcomplicating, what your brand can actually be.
Yes, it's really, talking about simplification, really, truly, I have so much of what I have designed inside Wellness Stockshop has come not only from what my members are sharing, but also what I've personally dealt with and struggled with as a business owner. And so I actually want to create something that will address those struggles. And so
Mhm.
everything that you find from this branding course, I mean, when I started out, I DIY'd everything and I was just guessing at everything. So the
Mhm.
course is actually designed from everything that I learned through the ridiculous hours that I spent trying to learn how to do it all myself. I would never recommend doing business that way ever again. I see how I struggled for so many years and stayed in the same spot, just spinning my wheels for so many years because I thought I had to do everything myself. And so
Mm.
that's what Wellness Stock Shop is turning into. It's a resource where you can just tap into these done for you resources, whether it's learning about DIYing your brand and getting the tips for where to go for all of these things, or grabbing these templates, which have changed so much. As you know, they now have the fill in the blank text on there, which is all based in marketing techniques. So whether you're sharing tips and you want more engagement, or if you're trying to share your course or showcase a lead magnet, it's just fill in the blank text, which is so amazing. I mean, anything that you can
I haven't even
do.
seen that yet. I'm excited now. Like,
Oh my
okay,
gosh, you haven't?
no,
Oh,
I haven't seen that part yet.
there's so much that I've been adding that's new. Yeah. And I have a lot more stuff coming. So, sneak peek that other people don't know much about yet is that I'm just about to release within the next few months the lead magnet creator kits. So, it's actually a workbook, beautiful designs. There's different design styles, but it's a workbook. So, you can just grab whatever pages work for you, turn it into your lead magnet like that. And then it's got all the social media graphics with the fill in the blank text to actually promote your lead magnet on social media. It's really amazing. So that's the direction I'm going in because I struggled so much with that. And I've decided, as a creative mind, especially, I'm always like all over the place. And I
Yeah.
struggled with creating systems and processes and thinking that I had to invent everything and do everything from scratch. And it's
Mhm.
just not true. So, but I needed to struggle through all that so that I could
Yeah.
know how to create this resource so that other women don't have to do that. So it's really, it's still evolving. I've got a lot of exciting stuff planned for you this year still.
Oh, I
And
can't wait.
so, yeah, it's amazing. I
I'm
just,
so super excited about that lead magnet workbook. I mean, you can fall into the Canva hole
oh,
creating your
yeah.
workbook for hours. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah, I know. And I've already had people test it out. I mean, people who are close to me, who are members,
Yeah.
I want them to test it out to make sure, like, let's go over this. What else would you need in this workbook? So I actually have members testing it out and telling me feedback so that I can make sure that it's the best possible for you. And I'm creating really like our own design styles so that you have multiple styles that you can choose from. Like, I want this style, and now I'm going to grab it in the lead magnet creator kit. I'm going to grab it in the Instagram essentials kit. I'm going to grab, like, so you have everything
Mhm.
streamlined and looking cohesive. It's just really, I don't know where these ideas come from. I'm in awe. I'm like, what is all of this? Where is all this coming from? I don't know, but I'm just going to keep creating it. So yeah, it's fun.
I
I've been
love
having a
it.
lot of fun with
Oh my gosh, those divine downloads are the best, aren't they? When all of a sudden
it.
something pops in and you're like, oh, that feels good. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Yes, and I've been getting so much lately. I can't keep up, but it's super fun. I love it.
You mentioned one thing just about templates, and I really want to kind of hone in on this for people, for women who are feeling like it's not okay to use templates. I really want to just kind of hit the BS button on that because there's a lot of noise out there in general, but I've heard a lot of people say, oh, don't use templates. Templates are the worst. And I'm like, no, they're not. Use templates, like allow it to take time off your plate. You can still make the template your own and have it your own unique feel and advantage, but especially when you're starting out, use the
Oh, yes.
templates.
I would
You
go, I would go so far as to say that's some of the worst advice I've ever heard is to not use
Yeah,
templates.
yeah.
Seriously, I mean, if you're not a graphic designer, not only does it take so much time, but it is not going to look good. Even if you think, oh, I did a really good job on this, and you're not a professional designer,
Yep.
other people are going to see it. You just don't see it. And I know this because I was that way. I didn't start out as a, when I started out my business, I DIY'd everything, and I'm humiliated now looking back at what it looked like. And it totally seriously affected my business. I mean, even before Wellness Stockshop, I was a professional photographer, and I started out with portraits. And I remember this one flyer that I designed for senior portraits. It was so bad. I kept it because it's just this painful reminder of where I started and how far I've come. Humiliating. And I think I got one person to book with me. That was it. And who wanted to, because it looked so bad, right?
Well, I'm laughing because I can relate to that. I remember the first work that I created for, years ago, and it wasn't quite centered.
Oh no.
Wonky, and I'm like, let's do some silly things up here. And I look back on that now and I'm like, wow. Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, it doesn't have to be perfect for absolutely like imperfection. I'm like, well, let me just get it out there. So I'm really proud that I did. But number two, use the templates. Like use templates. I mean, and once I found your photos too, it just made it again, it made my brand so much easier. I fell in love with my brand.
Great. And that's so important, Chris. That is so important. That's actually a huge message. If I could get this across to every business owner, it's so important for you to fall in love with your brand. Like that's one, even if that's all it did, if you feel confident about your brand, you're so much more likely to be confident in all of your actions and everything that you do. I can't tell you how many people have told me that before they actually had this beautiful brand, they were so embarrassed of what their website looked like, of what their Instagram feed looked like. And because of that, they held themselves back and they hid. They didn't want to share it with people. They didn't reach out for collaborations. Also, as a side note, other people don't want to work with you if your brand looks unprofessional because they need it to reflect well on them as well. So if you want people to reach out for an event like this one, it's important to have a beautiful brand. It's just, there's so much to say about that. And that doesn't mean that you have to drop thousands of dollars on a brand designer. Especially, I would highly recommend you don't do that. And actually, I would say that's one of the biggest mistakes if you're starting out as a business owner, is going all in and getting very precious about your branding, and everything has to be very unique to me and very, I have to go have a professional brand designer. I would not recommend that.
Yeah, because your brand evolves.
Yeah, it evolves. You change, your niche changes, your brand is going to change always. It's always going to change. It's totally normal to have a brand refresh every couple of years. So don't get hung up on, is this the exact right color of green? Or, oh, should I do that style or should I do that style? Just get something that you love, that you feel really confident about, and that looks professional, and that is going to be attractive to your ideal clients. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no exact look that's going to be right for you, but do make sure that it looks beautiful and it looks professional. And that can be as easy as joining Wellness Stockshop and having access to the color palettes and the templates and the font pairings. That's simple. Or, finding a source where they have all of the branding elements for you for a reasonable price. And it's going to be a template. And it's not going to be specific to you. There's going to be other people who have the same brand colors and the same fonts and the same, logo design, but no one's going to tell because there's thousands of other people out there, other businesses. No one's going to land on your website and be like, you have exactly the same colors as this other person, and therefore I devalue what you do. They're not even going to notice. And you're going to apply all of those colors and all the photos differently. So it's still going to look different. So just don't get hung up. Don't take so much time on it. Don't let it be a source of procrastination for you because other areas of your business need you. And
Mhm.
just definitely make sure that it looks professional and you feel confident about it. I feel very ranty right now, but it's
No,
so important.
that's so good. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. So good. Oh my gosh. So, okay, everybody. So you can find Wellness Stock Shop at wellnessstockshop.com and go there, take a look at the beautiful gallery. The other thing is that you've organized it so incredibly. We didn't even touch on that, but the organization of, Wellness Stock Shop makes it easy for you to find photos instead of trying to figure out, what kind of photo you want from thousands and thousands. Like you've got it categorized in such a beautiful way. And you are on our hub. So you can find Wellness Stock Shop and Briena, connect with her on the Shine Wellthy hub. You can just go there. What is it that you were going to share? Was it the monthly photo? Was it like, I know we've got.
Well, I definitely recommend going to Wellness Stock Shop, and you can click on the little freebies tab at the top and sign up for the monthly free photo. I send one out every single month. But I also have something very special that you can't get anywhere else right now. And if you go to wellnessstockshop.com/shine, I've added it there. So it's actually an Instagram toolkit basically. And you can use these. So it's got graphics for you. It's got a couple of color palettes for you to choose from. It's got some font pairings, I think. I mean, it's like a mini brand. Actually, a mini branding bundle. So you can grab that, get a taste for the different graphics, see the difference in our templates. Yeah, and it's totally free. It's a beautiful little mini Instagram toolkit, and you can use the graphics on really any of your social media channels. They're very diverse, and it's a delicious little bundle.
That is incredibly generous. Thank you. Thank you
My
so much.
pleasure. I'm so happy to offer that.
Oh, thank you for being here with us today. I am so excited. The information that you shared was so golden. I wish that I had gotten this information when I was first starting my business. It would have saved me literally hours and hours and hours and hours. And inside.
I have to say, me too, honestly. But I could have talked about this stuff for so much longer. I wish we had so much more time because, yeah, it's really important. And branding is so important. And it's important to know that a lot of people use it as a hang up. So be careful about that. Don't get hung up on it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
everybody,
you,
go to the hub, get the Instagram bundle, connect with Briena, and I will see you guys back here with another one of our experts. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.